to adjust the camera setting.
I'm sure people in other professions also do stuff like this, like, like maybe there's something career-wise you need to work on, or maybe, there's something else you need to work on. I did do a lot of relaxing, to be
Okay.
most of my weekend was spent bed rotting. So,
Okay.
I was not particularly
TikTok?
productive this weekend. News stuff, yeah. I am
Come
a
on.
complete nerd, okay? I'm a complete and total nerd.
What
but,
news? What what triggers you nowadays?
I mean, everything, current affairs stuff, the events going on, and well, this might be something that pokes your fancy a little more, but the events going on in Venezuela, where the carrier groups are moving south, and I noticed the interest evaporated instantly. But the carrier groups going south, and just noticing what's going on there, like the situation between Venezuela and the United States.
Okay, what's going on?
Maduro. Okay.
Maduro. Okay.
Yeah. So Maduro is Maduro is the leader of the Chavistas, which are a socialist political party in Venezuela. He is essentially the dictator of Venezuela.
Right. How long has he been in power?
He's been in power for about a decade, maybe more.
Okay.
And basically, Venezuela has not been having a good time. It's like a lot of hungry people, a lot of starvation.
I've seen
the currency is a complete crisis because of the currency manipulation they did.
You know what? I was in Colombia for a couple months, and there were a lot of people coming over.
Yes.
The way they described it is like they escaped Venezuela because they were hungry.
Yes.
How does that happen in 21st century?
It can only happen if your economic policy is completely botched. Completely, and especially for a country like Venezuela, which is immensely resource rich.
Yeah,
and 20 to 30 years ago was not in this predicament, right? So it's a direct policy of their... So essentially what happened is, okay, without getting too much into the nitty gritty, there are a couple of options you can do when you're... Okay, when Maduro came into power and and his predecessor Chavez came into power, they tried to institute these broad welfare programs, huge welfare programs, that were
giving out free money,
massive. Yes.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you have a couple options, right? And they went with the option of currency. I don't know if the term manipulation is correct, but currency manipulation or currency controls is the option they went with. That has some benefits, but the drawbacks are. It also has certain drawbacks.
Okay.
And when
Did they literally give out money?
No. So that is the effect of what happened. But the idea is, if you have currency controls or if you have currency controls, government imposed currency controls, it manipulates the flow of money, the flow of government currency in and out. And so the idea is that can temporarily shore up government programs.
Okay.
The problem is it leads to a lot of other issues, especially if you do that for a long period of time without getting too deep into the needs of it. It leads to a lot of other issues, and one of the biggest issues right now is that the currency in Venezuela is essentially worthless. You have extremely high inflation. The currency is essentially worthless. And so the government's just not doing well. And so as a result, there are some people that benefit from it, like people who are very, very poor in Venezuela. They get their government subsidized housing, government subsidized, and so they support it. Well, not all of them, but some of them support it.
Right.
But a lot of the population is, not doing well, so to speak. And so that's been the situation, the state of being for about 10 to 15 years in Venezuela. And Trump has a particular animosity towards Venezuela. It's interesting. Trump has a on-off record with authoritarian leaders. Certain people he likes, like
Kim Jong-un,
like Putin, Kim Jong-un. And certain people he dislikes, like Maduro. You think Maduro would fit into that pattern, but he sort of perceives Maduro through this different lens. He perceives him in a similar way to what he perceives the Democrats here in the United States. So he has that, he has that dislike of him, visceral dislike of him, which is often the case with Trump. He just has a visceral like or dislike for something. And as a result, he's kind of been threatening Maduro, saying, we're going to, and the Republican Party's never been favorable towards Maduro. It's always disliked Maduro.
Right.
So the interests align on that front. And so he's been saying, look, we're going to send our military down there. We're going to kick you out because and the pretext he's using is, and the pretext he's using is saying that Venezuela is a center for drug trafficking into the United States. And so that's the pretext he's using, is he's saying Maduro is a center for drug trafficking, and as a result, we have a national security interest to take on Maduro.
It's like narco situation.
Yeah, it's a narco situation, exactly. And so he's been sending immense amount of troops to the Caribbean, immense amounts, carrier groups, aircraft carriers, things like that, that are way beyond what you would expect for just a regular.
So
you know,
he
exercise.
just basically wants to overthrow the government.
He
in
either
Venezuela.
wants to do that or he's given some hints lately that he might be open for negotiation, but the negotiation would clearly be on his terms. It would be like, give us access to your oil, things like that.
Okay.
So it's either there for severe intimidation because it's a lot of military in that region, or it's there for just overthrowing the government using under the pretext of gang trafficking.
What's the
drug
difference
trafficking.
between this and what happened in Iraq? During
The
Bush
difference is I think first of all, going into Iraq, there was a national mood for vengeance. How do I put it? There was a sense that we need to get back at the people that did this to us. This being 9/11, and the administration had a lot of support for that. This is kind of different in the sense that it's not being pursued as a regime change thing. It's not being pursued as these guys are supporting terrorists and therefore we need to overthrow the government. It's almost being portrayed as these guys are trafficking drugs and so therefore we need to stop them from trafficking drugs. And if the consequence of that is that these guys are overthrown, then sure. But that's not the thing they're pursuing. So it's a different raison d'etre. It's a different rationalization, if you will. And I think today the big news came out of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who stated that they were designating as of November 24th Maduro to be head of a cartel state, or something along those lines, which is significant, which is very significant, and it essentially gives license to the U.S. government to potentially do military strikes. On the other hand, Trump's been making noise lately of, we might be open to negotiations, we might be open to seeing what Maduro says.
He's doing business.
Well, yeah, he wants to, get his pound of flesh. So we don't know yet. That's the situation there. What's the other thing? No, never mind. I won't bore you too much.
I mean, it doesn't bore me at all, and especially because I've seen a lot of Venezuelan refugees who's coming over to Colombia, to Argentina. They're basically on their, I don't know, like we used to have this thing in North Korea called arduous march. And it basically meant people were too hungry that they were on their way up to North, like China, or they were like just moving around a lot within the country to figure out like what to do with their situation. And I don't know, I just remember vividly. So like I was in Colombia just a couple months ago, or last year, recently, right? And I walked a lot because I enjoy walking. I was traveling there, and everywhere I went, I met like Venezuelan family walking on the street with all their stuff. And I've asked like, hey, like, what are you doing on the street? Like, and they're like, oh, we just walk because we don't have our house. We're here as a refugee. Our basic needs are not met, so we are forced to like, beg for money and food and everything. And I'm not kidding. Like there are thousands of them on the street, like fully occupied. So that's the only thing I've seen.
What's the craziest story you've heard from a Venezuelan refugee there?
So in order for them to be legally residing in a country, I have to go back to, so there's this jungle in Colombia, between Colombia and Panama, which I think, I forgot the name of the jungle, but it's very dangerous. You would have to risk your life to cross the border.
Oh, wow.
But people in Venezuela, because they can get kicked out of Colombia anytime, their goal is to move up as much as possible and get to the United States. Because as long as they get to the United States, they have more safety in a way, right? They treat them more humanely. So it takes them about 6 months to a year to walk up to the States, walk up to the United States and illegally cross the border into America. But the biggest bottleneck is the jungle. I think it's called Darien Gap.
Wow.
And like crossing there, like high risk of dying, high risk of getting robbed, high risk of getting bitten by a snake. It's an arduous journey going up, but they're doing it with their kid who's like 2 years old, 3 years old. I mean, anybody in their right mind would know that it's even like I don't know, it's more dangerous than going to Ukraine, I would say. Like there's high chance of getting raped, high chance of getting Yeah,
because there's gangs there, or
gangs are there, and the whole territory is like so dangerous. Just it's literally a uninhabited jungle.
Wow.
With a lot of different animals.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So that shows the desperation in a way, right?
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. No, totally. You were mentioning like stories like that, and stories about them saying we walk because we can't afford anything. There's a lot of stories in Venezuela of people who are struggling to they get food out of dumpsters. Unironically, there are stories about Venezuelans having to take food out of dumpsters, whatever they can scavenge, because there's quite literally not enough food available in the stores. Again, this classic example of currency manipulation. When you manipulate your currency, these are the kind of results you see. Or when you impose currency controls. It's just not a good situation. It's really unfortunate. And you think in one of the most resource-rich countries in Latin America, that's the situation where they have... I mean, it wasn't the case like this 20, 30 years ago. It's a recent phenomenon that there's just no food available. It's wild. It's incredible. So it's a terrible situation. There's a lot of angst right now about what's going to happen. I don't know off the top of my head what the attitudes of the Venezuelan people are towards this whole confrontation. I do know there's not a lot of love lost for Maduro. Whether U.S. intervention might spark support in the opposite or spark blowback in the opposite direction, it's possible. I don't know. It's possible the Venezuelan people are so, I don't want to use the word demoralized, but so fatigued that it might not kind of spark that reaction. But we don't know.
Okay.
And unless and until and if Trump ever does that, I guess we won't know.
I'm curious, what's in it for you? Like, what makes you intrigued to?
Oh, it's just a hobby of mine, to be honest. I could say, it's because I care about, and I do on some level. I care about, understanding. I'd have to investigate a little bit. I think on some level I care about these issues, like care about being more informed. But for me, it's just I enjoy learning about things like this. I enjoy learning about current events and how the world's working and. It's just something I'm interested in the same way someone else might be interested in, I don't know. Movies,
that's super interesting though, because that's the mindset of a journalist. That they're always interested. They're always interested in knowing more about it and covering it, but they're not necessarily geared towards creating a solution, right? But I feel like you could be a great journalist in a way.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
I appreciate that.
And there's this thing called empathy fatigue. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
So
fatigue,
once you engage too much, and once you start getting emotional about the people that you cover, it gets more difficult.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure it's different. I'm just a consumer of news, right? As a journalist, you're a producer of news. That's a different emotional tool. So actually, I think you'd be right. I might enjoy the job, but I think also it is a different, I don't want to say skill set. It is a different, it is kind of a different skill set, right? Being the producer of news is different because in a sense, well, all I'm doing is just consuming different perspectives, and I'm thinking, okay, what's my perspective on it based on all the stuff I'm consuming? Right. I'm analyzing the situation. As a journalist, you're taking these very visceral firsthand reports, and you're trying to make sense of it. And that's almost a different lens. You're not analyzing. You're not creating a secondhand, armchair. Oh, I'm back. I'm in my comfortable studio, and I'm gonna make an armchair, analysis of it. It's like you're out in the real world, and you're meeting these people that are genuinely in a lot of pain. That takes an emotional toll on you in the way it might not take on someone who's reading the abstract letters on a newspaper. Right. So it is different. I would say
it is different. Yeah,
100%.
It's interesting though. As a consumer, where do you consume news mostly from?
Anywhere I can find it. I read the newspapers, of course, if they have something. Podcasts, news channels, commentary channels.
Okay.
Commentary channels have a lot of different secondhand perspectives.
Like YouTube?
So, stuff like that. It's just something you do for pastime,
Okay. So you go around different platforms, jump from one to the other. X, threads.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I know X gets a bad rep for a variety of reasons, and definitely some of them are valid.
Yeah.
But it is still the best place I've ever found for aggregating information, because you have so many journalists there and so many people, and updates instantly. It's like even before the news sites get a handle of it, you'll find something on X.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of proliferation of bad news, of fake news as
Question,
well.
Jay.
Yes, go ahead.
I was thinking about also distributing this podcast on X. You think that's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea, and I think there could be a lot of reach if you proliferated the podcast on X as well.
Okay.
I think X is just, I agree. I think X is like, for all the faults it has, and it definitely has faults, proliferation of fake news being one of them, it is still like the best place to get news instantly. I've never found a better
Speed
place.
of it.
News and commentary on news. It's just, there's no other place like it. It's Twitter or X. So,
what do you think of the recently implemented feature where they allow you to check the source with Grok? Have you seen that?
The source with Grok?
Yeah. So like apparently, X has introduced a feature where Grok verifies and authenticates a content that gets uploaded right away.
Interesting. Are you saying like whether it verifies whether the story is true, whether the content's true?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. Okay, Grok. I feel like probably on a net that's a positive because Grok is probably accurate 90 to 95% of the time. But I don't know. Like Grok is like, I've seen Grok make some interesting takes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd 100% trust it. I think probably it's better than the alternative, which is not doing anything. But you know,
What kind of LLM like
yeah.
AI do you use?
I do use Grok. So
Okay,
I use
okay.
Grok, I use Chat. Grok is so useful for research.
Okay.
Amazing for research. You ask it for something, it'll give it to you. Incredibly good for research.
Okay.
I use ChatGPT, of course, everyone does. OpenAI.
$20.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
version.
I don't actually have the free
Okay.
version. Sorry. I
You
do have the
do
free
have a free
version.
version,
I
yeah.
don't have the extended.
Okay,
Yeah. I don't. Maybe I should get it, but I just not something I've gotten yet.
Okay. Cloud.
Which one?
Claude.
Claude? Yeah, I use it sometimes for visualizations.
Okay.
I'll use it for visualizations.
But the free version too.
The free version, yeah,
Okay.
I haven't paid for any LLM yet. Grok is good. Grok is very good. I won't deny it. But when you ask it for opinions, that's where I get a little concerned because 90% of the time it's right, but it's that 10%, and I don't want it to be a situation where someone just can't express something because Grok says so, even though there's like a 1 in 10 chance Grok is wrong, and 1 in 10 is like too high for me. So I don't know. It's a dilemma I get in my head because fake news does have real consequences.
Yep.
And you know that it spreads like wildfire, and you know it sets public impressions, and it can do a good deal of damage. But on the other hand, is that better, or is that worse than having an LLM that has a 1 in 10 chance of getting regulation of content wrong. Like it's a 1 in 10 chance of being like, okay, I'm removing this,
Right.
or I'm putting this up. I'm removing this even though it's factual or even though it's like a valid opinion to have, or I'm letting it go even though it's blatant fake news.
Ironically, I don't know if this is the right analogy, but it reminds me of our justice system and the death penalty
that
too.
is the exact analogy I was going for. Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think of that?
No, that's the exact analogy I was going for. Is it okay to the analogy that you're alluding to is it okay to
Kill someone?
No, is it okay to kill like if you had 9 guilty people and 1 innocent person, is it okay to put all of them in jail? Is it okay to put the 9 guilty people in jail even if that meant putting 1 innocent person in jail? That's the analogy you're kind of pointing at.
Right.
And I think it's totally fair. It's like a view of the justice system. Is the justice system, is it that's a whole innocent until proven guilty thing. And here we veer on the side of no, right? In America, it's veer on the side of no, it's not okay to do that in the justice system. Even if we have to let the 9 guilty people free,
Right.
we have to do that as long as that 1 innocent person. Like it's better than putting them all in jail, including the innocent person.
Right. What about this? Is fake news freedom of speech?
Yes.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, to me, it is. Now, the question is, I think first of all, legally, it's that freedom of speech. There's no doubt about it. You can say whatever you want, as long as you're not doing outright libel, which is like you are slandering someone maliciously. You are saying that person, that person murdered someone, and you're screaming it on a loudspeaker to everyone, and you're ruining their business. That's one thing.
Why is that not a freedom of speech?
Because so this is something the Supreme Court's ruled on. there's a few specific. I think there's two specific categories where there's exceptions to freedom of speech. Exceptions, so to speak. One is an imminent call to harm or violence against someone specific. Okay. So you can't say tomorrow we're going to go with pitchforks to Timmy's house and murder him. Because that is such a specific call to violence or action, right? You can say Timmy's a bad person, and I hate Timmy and stuff, but you can't say tomorrow we're gonna go and kill Timmy, right? We're gonna go with pitchforks to Timmy's house. We're gonna beat him. We're gonna beat him. You can't say that for reasons that have to do with opposing physical violence and things like that. The other thing is libel. So libel is because, and libel doesn't just constitute, in other countries they have much looser libel laws. So in other countries, you can get accused of libel for a much wider range of things. In the United States, it's much stricter. It's something like, if you're accusing someone of something serious, like let's say there's someone with something to lose, they have a business, and you're saying, this Timmy owns an Apple store. Timmy owns an Apple store, but he's actually poisoning the apples. He's poisoning the apples. Timmy loses all his business. He loses all his business. I caused him material loss. So I'm someone with a platform. He's someone with something to lose. And I, using my platform, caused him material loss. He can sue me for that. He can say, you said something false, maliciously, and you caused my business to go down. And especially if I know it's false and I'm doing it to slander him, and they have evidence of that, that's different because I'm causing them material loss for something that's patently wrong, right? Okay. It's like so.
Isn't fake news doing the same thing though?
No, because I think you're not causing someone specific material loss. The difference is let's say I make fake news about like yesterday Trump said that America should annex Lebanon, and Trump never said that. It's not causing him material loss in a business. When I say material loss, I'm talking about something specific. This is the way the Supreme Court defines it. It's something. It's like specific material, like he's losing money because of it. He's like, you're attacking his business, and he's losing money because of it. You can't do that, right? But if you just say something false, that's not grounds. I mean, people say stuff that's false all the time, right? You can't just you can't just silence someone because they say something false. It has to be proven that they said something false maliciously, it was directed at a specific person or group, and it caused them real material loss, significant material loss. Significant is a key word, right? And if you don't meet that high threshold, high criteria, the way the Supreme Court defines it, it's like, it's a free country. You can say it. You can say it. Now, the next question is, legally, that's what freedom of speech is. So constitutionally, you're allowed to do it. There can be no government restriction on it. The next question is, are there negative knock-on effects, social effects to fake news proliferating? Yes, there absolutely are. Fake news is not a good thing. Even though it is free speech, it's not a good thing. Absolutely, 100%. And are there efforts or methods? I think the thing X does with community notes is brilliant. Community notes is brilliant because it lets you post fake news, but everyone can see that it's fake. You put that community notes behind and under, and you say this is actually not true. 95% of the people see it. Oh, okay, this guy's just talking out of his, whatever, talking out his behind. So, talking out of his ass. So, I think community notes are a brilliant way of dealing with it. Because you don't actually silence the speech. You don't actually have someone arbitrating. You don't have someone like sitting behind a desk thinking, is this fake or is this true? And I'm going to let them speak or I'm not going to let them speak.
Question.
Yes?
Is there potential for certain groups of people attacking certain posts as a community note?
Are you saying, can community notes be manipulated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. They can be, but the main point about community notes is they're publicly voted. So it's not just like you can post a community note and everyone sees it. It's like you post a community note and the Twitter as a public community votes on it. And if your note is terrible, it's dog shit, and you have a clear bias behind it, no one's going to vote for it. Now, if your group was somehow 80% of Twitter, yeah, sure, it'd be wrong, but that's not happened yet. Twitter's very diverse now. It has a lot of different elements to it. So you're not going to get something, most of the time that I've observed, you don't get something blatantly wrong as a community note. Usually community notes are very helpful. But I do take the point of that there are social repercussions, negative social effects, knock-on effects to fake news proliferating, I don't think it's good.
Right.
And I think there does need to be ways to combat it. You just need to be careful that you're looking at the right ways to combat it.
Okay.
This is what I'm getting at.
Here's one question I want to ask, because you seem to be consuming a lot of content on X and news especially.
Yeah.
If you were a malicious actor, what would you do to manipulate the narrative?
Here's what I do. Okay. First of all, bots are very prevalent on X. Bots have a huge... The thing is, X is where a lot of conversation between journalists and politicians and users and where all this conversation takes place. And so, in a weird way, X almost has a downstream effect into mainstream culture. Because the stuff that originates on X, journalists and politicians pick up on it.
Right.
And they think this is representative of the public. It's almost like an effect. Even though they know, like logically know, the broader public's probably not seeing this, they see that it's, look, it's on my X feed. It's all people saying this, right? And therefore, they take that almost as like influence. They start leaning into it, right? And so maybe they don't agree with all of it. They start leaning. They say, these guys kind of have a point. They start saying it publicly on more public forums. So what happens is X, if you have a large amount of people saying on X, this thing is happening.
Right.
Politicians and journalists will see that, and they'll start talking about it in public forums.
They'll write articles about it.
In public forums, writing articles, and it starts entering the public consciousness. And because that debates start happening, and it feeds back into X, right? You see the cycle? So if you get a lot of a coordinated bot attack, if you can get a lot of bots to push a specific agenda, to push a specific issue, which is already happening in a lot of cases, you can manipulate their perspective of what is important and relevant and what is not, what is right and what are people thinking and what are they not thinking. And so bots are number one way I would do it.
Okay.
If you want to manipulate people's opinions, absolutely bots. And it doesn't even have to be fake news necessarily. It's just bots, like people saying, this thing is bad. Everyone on my X feed is saying this thing is bad, but they're all bots.
Are they noticeable though? Are they noticeable? Like bots? Can you distinguish them?
No, sometimes no. You can. Sometimes they are noticeable, but sometimes no. Sometimes it can be hard. And I don't know the full extent of the bot problem on X. It is a problem. But sometimes it's harder to notice than you think. And some of it is not just them posting, it's them liking tweets. So you get his botted likes. So some figures might appear more influential than they actually are. Oh my God, this person got 100K likes. Wow, they're representing something in the public view. We have to take this guy more seriously. So you start talking about it in your journals and in New York Times and in the press, and the politicians start talking about it. Enters public consciousness, and doing so, they generate opposition and support to that person, and so support for them grows. It grows almost inorganically. It starts inorganic, but because people start talking about it, thinking it's organic, it becomes organic. It's almost like it's a weird, like, you've ever heard of the mindset thing where it's like, if you think something is true, it will become true?
Right.
Like, if you believe you can do something, you will do something. In a way that almost applies to public consciousness. It almost applies to the public arena, to the public debate, to ideas in the public sphere. Because if you start with inorganic support for something, and it's so coordinated, it's so massive, like it is on X, you can convince people that are powerful, not people that are powerful, people that are in positions of power, like journalists, people at academia and establishment areas of influence, to talk about it. And so the broader public notices it, and they get in on the debate. And that way you generate actual support. You start with inorganic support, inorganic bots, and you generate actual support. It's a filtering down mechanism.
Isn't that scary?
Right. It is scary, and it happens all the time.
Right,
it happens all the time.
You seem to know the full extent of it, and you still have no solution for it, right?
No, I don't think there is a good look. Any solution would be so. I don't want to use the word tyrannical, but it would be so repressive that at that point you're just not like if you're gonna try and stamp out the whole bot problem on X, it's just very difficult to do. I'm sure you could do it, but it's like
because of the aforementioned dilemma, right? You don't want to kill the one guy.
Well, yeah, exactly, and it's so prevalent, right? And the issue right now is a lot of that inorganic stuff is already filtered down to the public. It's already filtered down to the public consciousness. A lot of the debates you see now, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of the debate, but a lot of debates you're seeing now, recently in the news. Like there was a recent event with Tucker Carlson, and I'm not going to get too much into the weeds of that, but there was a recent event with Tucker Carlson that caused a lot of controversy. Something Tucker Carlson did, someone he interviewed. And that caused a lot of controversy, and there's a lot of parallels to what's going on there because I believe there was a lot of inorganic. There was an inorganic nature to it that started, but it filtered down, and now it's a mass public debate. Now you've got a lot of people talking about it.
Right.
So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I mean, just to add to that, there are evidences being provided on a government level that these malicious actors on a state level have been operating and been manipulating the public narrative on many different cases already.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if there's any effective way for us to notice that at all, right? Because in the past, I think it was difficult to manipulate people and fake their content, right?
Yes.
It was more noticeable.
Yes.
But nowadays, I feel like it's more difficult. So I think the only way for us, like in real world, for example, if we were to prevent a crime, we can't, right? It's in our human nature.
Right.
But we can take measures to slow them down and make it more difficult. Right.
It's difficult because AI proliferating. AI has positives and negatives, and unfortunately, negative is, like you said, just makes fake things a lot easier to spread.
Right.
It's like, how do you
slow them down?
how do you slow them down is the operative question. That's something, to be candid, I'm not sure. That's something, there are experts out there working on it. That's not something that is my field of expertise. All I can say is all that I see, which is that there is a prevalent problem. There is an issue. And when you ask, how would I, if I was a malign actor, how would I manipulate public discourse? Starting with X. Bots are the number one way I would do it. And they wouldn't even have to make fake news up. They would just express an opinion. They would express opinions en masse, or they would support people that are expressing opinions, and they would support it en masse, right? And by manipulating the perception of how much support certain people have, the internet can become real life, right? The internet starts out, some of these things, they started botted and artificial.
Right.
But because it looks like real support, the people with real influence start talking about it. And they create a real polarization among real people about it. And that's how you...
Let's take this to a different conversation, but related.
Go ahead.
Kids, they're growing up seeing content,
yes.
right? And they're more influenced than any others.
Yes.
What if they're affected in a specific notion that would not be ideal for the whole community?
Absolutely, they already are.
Jay,
they
before
already
you go,
yes.
Jay, before you go, closer mic, please.
Like here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try to keep that close.
Okay, got it. Absolutely, and you're right. And absolutely, you're right. They already are. This is the important thing for people to understand. They already are being influenced. There's material factors. Now, the important thing before I want to preface this, there's material conditions underlying it. There's a feeling that real wages have been stagnant ever since 2020. We've not had any significant improvement in material conditions since 2020. We had a period of 9% inflation, the highest rate of inflation since the 1970s, since the Carter era.
Okay.
Most people can't even remember the Carter era, right?
Jimmy.
I mean, Jimmy Carter, right? The 70s. I mean, like a lot of people weren't even alive for that, right? People couldn't even remember inflation that high.
It certainly
and
wasn't.
just hit people like a brick. And real wages fell for the first time in a decade, more than a decade, and people were hurting. And a lot of that filtered out the consequences, the malign negative social consequences of the COVID pandemic, which isolated people, which broke down social connection and relationships, and accelerated that drive towards atomization.
And you were a teenager then, right?
Yes.
How was that for you?
Yeah, I noticed it acutely, and my friends noticed it acutely, and I can tell you that's a big part of it. The social atomization, the economic, the feeling of economic downward mobility. It's not just that people say, oh, right now it's a relatively good time to live in human history, right? We're not dying of the plague or anything. It's by most standards, it's a pretty good time to be a human. But it's the downward mobility that matters. It's the feeling that we're getting worse off. So even if we're in a better standard than we were 30 years ago, we're worse off than we were 10 years ago, right? It feels like 10 years ago we were better off, and we're getting worse. Even if we are generally at a higher point in human history, we're off the peak, and it feels like we're going down. And that's causing a lot of anxiety. It's causing a lot of atomization anxiety, fear, and those are very potent emotions that bad actors can, I don't want to say prey on, but that they can latch onto. That's the relevant context, right? With that being said, let's think about the method I'm pushing here. If I'm a malign actor, what do I say? You guys are feeling terrible. The problem look at this group.
Right.
Look at what they're doing.
Empathize with them.
No, not empathize.
No,
this is important. No,
okay.
this is important. I'm a malign actor.
Okay.
You guys are feeling bad. Look at this group. Look at what they're doing. Get outraged about it. get outraged about it. How dare they do this? Or even worse, what I'll do. Look at this issue. It's these guys controlling everything. They're out to get you.
Conspiracy.
They're out to get you. And it's not just conspiracy. Like conspiracies, people think of it as benign. Like, oh, like I have a conspiracy that, aliens are here. So I'm not talking about that kind of conspiracy.
Okay.
I'm talking about
division.
I'm talking about pitting ethnic groups against one another. I'm talking about saying this group controls us, or saying that group needs to get out of the country, or saying, these guys are all the core cause of all our problems. And you pit people against each other using their anxieties, their material anxieties, their cultural, social anxieties, and you use that as a fuel to light it on fire. And you say, these guys are the problem. These guys are the problem. No, these guys are the problem, right? And it starts out inorganic and botted, but because influencers see it, they think there's something there, so they start debating it, and it gets in the public consciousness, and people start taking sides.
Men and women, black and white,
all
divide them all.
Yeah, there's a lot of ethnic, there's, and you can see this currently. I didn't want to get too much into the details of this, but there's like huge controversy going on within the political right now over anti-Semitism, over views towards Judaism, and there is significant controversy towards it.
And theoretically, you can divide anyone.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
even you and me, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you see that often, and it's just getting worse. As long as there's downward economic mobility, as long as people feel they're getting worse off, they can't get a break, and you can find a scapegoat for them and you can bot it enough to get influential people talking about it. Then the people underneath, the ordinary people, will see that and they'll say, "That makes sense. It's these guys." If we just dealt with these guys,
because of those guys.
Those guys, exactly. And that's the essential, and there's more complex arguments they'll make, but it essentially boils down to that basic boilerplate issue. Sorry, what was your original question?
I mean, yeah, what do you do about that?
What do you do about that? You were saying kids. Okay, let me just finish off with the kids. Kids are especially susceptible to it because of the social atomization. Especially susceptible because of the social atomization. The thing I'm talking about is a lot with adults. Right. But kids, the social atomization, you're spending all your time alone on the internet. Everyone is way too online these days. Way too online these days. And I mentioned this in an earlier podcast, but everyone...
Roblox.
Yeah, well, everyone is just way too online. Everyone is just... There's no community anymore. Everyone's just way too online. They're spending too much time on their reels. And, a lot of times this stuff filters down to reels. You see commentators spewing this stuff. You see commentators saying stuff like this. Saying stuff like X, Y, and Z, saying stuff like this group is to blame, that group is to blame.
And they tend to be very entertaining too.
Yes, and they tend to be entertaining too. And that's the fundamental issue is you see that and you're like, I'm part of something bigger than me.
Right.
Because that helps. It is like, in a sense, community, right?
Right.
We're all in this together. We all hate this group together. We all found out the truth. It's these guys controlling everything. Yeah. These guys, and we're the truth tellers.
I'm the cool guy.
I'm the cool. I'm breaking their norms. I'm part of this group. We're telling the truth. We're gonna, and it's like, and it's this attitude of like, it's almost like a community. It's like you're finding community through this political cause. And that is very concerning to me. I think kids are especially susceptible to it. Kids normally find community through a variety of routes. Right. But you start removing those roots, and you especially infuse politics with culture, which is what has happened in 10 years. 30 years ago, if you were talking about politics as a kid, you were like a nerd. Okay, like you were a nerd. You'd probably get shoved in a locker. Not saying it's good, but I'm saying that's what happened. Like most politics was boring, right? Nobody talked about politics. Normally, you were talking about sports or like celebrities. Right. Now it's like politics is infused with culture. And so when you have nothing else to do, what do you do as a kid? You get attracted to extremist politics, radical political ecosystem, ideas. Niches. And that gives you a sense of community that you otherwise wouldn't have. And so kids get drawn into this stuff very, very easily. And they don't have the emotional maturity and the life experience and even the responsibility. I think a big part of what separates teenagers from adults is responsibility. Right. When you're an adult, you might fall into these ecosystems, but you still have a life outside them. You have to have a job. Right.
You're occupied with something
almost
already.
Everyone has a job. Yeah, you have to have a job. You have to have something you're responsible for. You have to wake up in the morning and go to your job. You have to go wake up in the morning and go to the job. And so it's like you have things you have to do. Even if you're a lonely adult, you're still an adult. When you're a teenager, you don't really have that kind of responsibility. Right. And so it's like that can become your world. And that's why you're very susceptible to it. And kids are especially susceptible to it. And it's a big problem. It's already happening. It's been happening for the last 5 to 10 years. It's getting worse. It's getting worse since COVID. And the guardrails to sort of stop that, the guardrails to not divert, but to I don't want to say divert, but to push kids out of that direction and to push them onto a different trail where they would be more where their energy would be more productive, you know, where they you know, spend time in sports or spend time, you know, doing other things with other kids. Those things are declining in influence. And so the worrisome corollary is that politics and extremist politics grows as a corollary.
Is there less incentive for them to go out and just get some sunlight and do all that? Like, do they get pressure to stay in online space, or like what's
it's not pressure. It's more like how do you put it? Inertia. Yeah, it's inertia from the COVID years. It's inertia from the COVID years. It's inertia from lockdown and the COVID years. And once you get into that mindset, it's very hard to get out of it.
It's compounded.
It's very hard. Yes, it's a compound thing. It's very hard to get out of it. Once you've spent all your time inside in the internet, there's been some recovery, but it's not been a lot.
Would you call that an addiction too?
I think so. I think it's just easy. I think it's just easy. It's just simple. I wouldn't say it's an addiction in the sense that like drugs are addictions, because I don't think it qualifies to the level. I just think it's easy. I just think it's simple. And I think it's hard to, you see the same thing with people having friends with ChatGPT or having friends with AI rather than making actual friends. Because it's easy. There's no friction. The AI will agree with you no matter what. And so there's always a friction and a fear to going outside and doing new things. It's always going to be there, right? But in the past, you had to do it. There was nothing else to do unless you wanted to sit in your room and watch paint dry.
Right.
Or you know, you could watch TV all day, but I mean, that gets kind of boring after a while.
Yeah.
But the internet, the internet has everything. It's not just like the 90s where, you know, you sit at your home and you watch one TV channel all day. You know, that gets boring. The internet has everything. It can satisfy all your wishes. You can be addicted to pornography. You can be addicted to, you know, specific subcultures. You can be addicted to, addiction's not the right word, but you can be in a lot of different things, and it'll be harder for you to get bored, right? You can get stuck there a lot longer period of time without realizing the effect it's having on your life.
You're teaching kids, right? Yes. How old are they?
They're about 8 or 9, so I don't notice. They're brain rotted, definitely, but that's a more malign. That's more.
Are they allowed to have phones like during class? Like, are they like?
No. They
not at all.
Have phones,
not in school.
No, thankfully they don't. And you know, they're a bit brain rotted. Like, you know, they say the jokes all the time, but that's fine. That's more like a mitigated version of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is kids that, you know, they don't talk to other kids, spend all the time in these niche online subcultures, like the same subculture that, you know, the guy who killed Charlie Kirk came from, right? He was in a lot of very niche, and he talked to some of his friends, and they'll say, "Yeah, this guy was the ultimate Reddit kid." Right?
Really?
Yes. The way some of his friends were describing.
Would they even call it common? Like,
no, I think he's very particular. Like, the way they described him is this guy was a very like Reddit kid. He had a lot of online communities that he was involved with. He's very much a specific caricature or stereotype of a person you think of that, you know, is involved in a lot of online communities and is very politically active in those communities.
And I suppose that started when the COVID happened.
Around then. And these trends are only getting worse. They're only getting worse as politics just gets infused with culture. It only gets worse. The one upside is that voter participation is higher. You know, it used to be awful in the Obama years. Voter participation was. Now it's a lot better. But that's like it just happens to be a positive upside. I think there's a lot of negative issues too. There's a lot of negative issues that have arisen over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I want to end it with a note. Nathan, do you have a time? So you have a kid, right? Yeah. How old are they?
I have a 8 and a 12-year-old.
8 and a 12-year-old. And what do you know what kind of platforms they consume information from, or?
They hang out at Roblox.
Roblox.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's their life, pretty much.
Do you know what they do?
They watch YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, that's the reels.
And do they ever do they enjoy going out as much?
So I just actually had a podcast with my son right before you guys.
Oh, you did?
Oh, you did? No way.
Yeah, that's
crazy. He was talking about that there's this kid who was online for 20 hours straight.
Yep.
20 hours.
That's what I'm talking
straight.
about. That's what I'm talking, because it's easy.
Where do you sleep?
Sleep 4 hours. You spend 20 hours.
We came back in circles.
It's so easy to think about it. Actually, you just wake up in your bed. So spend 20 hours scrolling.
And
essentially,
then go back to
people
sleep.
live.
Yes.
In the Roblox.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about exactly. I mean, to be fair, Roblox is. I'm sure the obsession there is different, but you can see the pattern, right?
Yeah.
See the pattern with young kids. It's very prevalent.
It's like a metaverse for you, right?
Yeah. The internet has everything. It has everything. It's another world.
You can
it's
make
easy.
friends
It's
there. You can make your girlfriend there.
It's escapism. Exactly. It's easy. It's easy. It's very hard. The real world is hard because it's hard to make friends and it's hard to make connections and it's hard to it's just harder.
And it's also like, all of these, UI, UX experiences are basically just hacked you to spend more time there. So, I mean, they live in that Roblox world, which is like this alternative world, and also it's a community.
Yeah.
You're actually hanging out with real life people.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so that's the appeal.
Easier. Yeah. In a way, it's
they're a
easier.
lot more integrated. They're a lot more like.
Right.
Also, the sharing economy. Bro, they pay for the art.
Yeah.
The little kids paying for the other kids' art. It's the market, bro. There is a market.
Character. Yeah.
There is a market of actually people buying art from other kids, like kids buying art from kids.
Right.
Inside.
It's like back in the day, like you used to be millionaires buying art from millionaires.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, like you can go go to a museum and buy an art. For like
but it all happens in cyberspace now.
Yeah, and the kids are doing it, and they're very like generous with each other. They're like just the Roblox just circulate very fast between each other. They gift, gifting culture, sharing culture. Very interesting. And he makes art. He receives Roblox, and then he gives it to his friends, and then just like ever circulating economy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's super cool. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah, the internet's all encompassing. And if you're a kid who's vulnerable and doesn't have a lot of avenues, it's easy. It's right there.
Yeah.
Why would you? It's the path of least resistance. You give people a path of least resistance, a hard path. Most people go the path of least resistance. Right? You're setting the incentive structures up that way.
I mean, I mentioned this before on our first conversation that we had here. Even the Ukrainian kids, like they want a physical space to hang out with a lot of friends.
Yes.
So it's not like they don't want it, right?
Right, but it's the path of least resistance.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like people know that these kids know they feel bad, but sometimes they don't even know why, and they don't even know what they could help.
Imagine bed rotting for 20 hours. Like you can't feel great about that.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Definitely not. But that's what a lot of kids do, unfortunately. I mean, it's the easiest path. They don't feel good about it. They feel terrible about it. But it's like they can't see any other path. I mean, I don't want to put this to like addiction, like a drug. Like I don't want to compare it directly, but I did do like a documentary on fentanyl addiction. Oh, really?
That's what these patients were doing.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
So I like not exactly that, but like I see a big analogy here.
Right.
And
no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And fentanyl, like we know that's like risky, like kills people, right? But do these kind of behavior, like do they kill people too? Like
I think they can lead people to be depressed and suicidal, and I think indirectly they can cause it. But I don't think they have the direct physiological impact of killing people that, say, fentanyl would.
Right.
I don't think you're going to kill yourself. I don't think the internet's going to kill you, but I think your reaction to the internet can kill you.
Right. It's
how you react to it could kill you.
Process, right?
Yes. It would be like the equivalent of if there was a drug that you took all the time because it was easy to escape. And the drug didn't kill you itself, but but you felt depressed using the drug.
Right.
You felt like, oh, my life's shit, my life's terrible. This sucks, that sucks. And that led you to do that.
Right. It's not exactly the same thing.
It's not quite one-to-one, but you can see there's a comparison there.
Right.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Do you do anything to your kid to stop him from being too engaged in the internet space?
I just tell him sometimes. Bro, you've been too long. Like, I've been sitting there
for
too long. Let's go hang out.
Let's go hang out.
I don't even think internet use on itself is bad as long as you have other things in your life. As long as, like, as a kid, you're going out and playing soccer or football, or you're going out to theater. You're just doing things normal kids do. Like maybe you have 2 or 3 of those things in your life. You're going to summer camp. As long as you're doing that, honestly, internet use, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't think I'm not one of these moral Puritans who's like, this is a great evil for society. You know, I don't think it's that. I just think that it shouldn't be all that.
Right.
It as long as you have other things in your life, I don't actually care if you spend all your time on the internet. Right? If you're going to, let's say, summer camp and you have a summer job or something, and maybe, you go play football, and then you spend the rest of your time outside of school on the internet, I actually don't have a problem with it because you have a life outside the internet.
Right.
So you won't have that same attachment, that negative attachment to the internet that someone who doesn't have anything outside of the internet would. So I honestly, it's not like it's in a sense like drugs. The problem with drugs is like any amount of drugs, even if you have other things in your life, doing drugs is bad. But I feel like with the internet, it's like almost the opposite, right? As long as you have something else in your life, the internet's fine in my view.
Okay. Yeah,
it's fine in my view because as long as you have other things in your life, I think. Even if you're spending the rest of your time on the internet, it's fine. That's at least my opinion.
We need more of let's hang out, right?
Right.
Like what you did to your son and what we did to you right now, 100%. Like today. Like you've been bed rotting all day, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
We told you to come over and we're having this conversation.
100%.
This is the community that we need to prevent people from, going that different route,
but
right?
Guys, have you ever dreamt of this like virtual reality world that will be living in the future?
Like Inception, like movie Inception kind of scenario?
Or more like a Matrix type of place. Like where you plug in to a place with the avatar.
Yeah. I mean, we're close to that.
Back in the day, I was thinking about that. You wear just goggles and it'll immerse you. But goggles is not the answer, right?
Yeah.
To full immersion, you need to.
You need
your whole limbic system to be connected.
It's almost like you need to be asleep. Like you need to be in a pod and sleep, and you're like in this world.
Right.
It's like you're almost in a dream, but the dream is with everyone else. Everyone else is sharing the same dream.
Right.
That's kind of what it is.
Basically, like the limbic system that you have that you're used to use, like for all these, pleasures of the world and all that stuff. There all needs to have the interface with the world.
I agree.
It's possible though.
I agree 100%.
It's coming.
I mean, honestly, I want to say it might be healthier than the internet because then you'd actually be talking to people. Like it might have that a degree of physicality that the internet doesn't. Just seeing words on a screen and thinking you're interacting with people when it's just words on a screen.
So now you have that philosophical question, right?
Yeah.
Where just technology is not there, but we still have that, I don't know, some sort of craving or something to live that kind of life.
Yes.
Very interesting how people are wired.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And also, I believe like we're wired to create AI. As
wired
a species.
to create AI.
Yeah.
What's meant to happen.
We're like programmed to create AI.
Interesting.
We have some conservative that would be like, actually concerned and stuff like that. But like as a mass of people, it's always curious to create something conscious,
Something conscious. I mean, on a different note, this guy has just recently interviewed with an AI company. Tell me more about what you learned throughout the process.
I learned that there's a lot of people that are passionate about AI.
Okay.
I learned that there's a lot of people that are passionate. I think I knew this before, but there's a lot of real passion for it. I think there's a lot of ideas going around. Now, which ideas work on, which ideas don't, I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
But that's the essence of what I learned. There's a lot of ideas going around. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of... Everyone in every field has ideas. Everyone in any field has an idea of how AI can help them. That's essentially what I'm figuring out.
Is ubiquitous.
Literally everyone is like, AI can do
anything.
this. AI can do that. And the question is, can it? But everyone thinks it can.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talking going on right now.
There's a lot of hope.
And the thing, hope. Hope is the thing. There's a lot of hope and there's a lot of talking going on right now. The thing that makes me nervous is like, I hear all this talking. I don't think the talking has matched up with the reality yet. Maybe it will in 10 years. I don't think it has yet. I think a lot of people are talking. They're saying things. They're saying we can do this. They're saying we can do that. Oh, AI will be able to do this.
Fix this and fix that. Fix that too.
But until it actually happens, it just seems like a lot of talking to me. I know AI is already doing things, But it seems like the scope of expectation is so high in every field for what AI can do. And I don't know.
And as many people there are, as many there are different opinions about AI.
Yes. So many different opinions.
Like, even if you ask, like, what are you concerned about AI? Like, what are your concerns about AI? Every single person in my experience gives absolutely different concerns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
No,
that's
absolutely.
funny.
Different scope entirely, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, it's a similar phenomenon. There's a lot of people that say TikTok should be banned. Like, I think the majority of the public was like 70% were like TikTok should be banned. But a lot of people use TikTok anyway. You know, it's like it's that kind of
Can't
thing.
stop
Like,
people
yeah,
from
yeah.
using
They'll
it.
say, I shouldn't be using this, but
yep.
so it's the
That's how
same
it
thing.
is.
It's the same thing with AI. There's a
Shouldn't
lot of
be
people
smoking.
Yeah, it shouldn't be so. I should, I have concerns about this AI stuff, but let me just ask this question to ChatGPT.
exactly. Yeah,
you know,
it's convenient.
It's easy,
you know,
right?
By the
Yeah,
way,
exactly.
Next
I
to
watched
me.
this video today about this phenomenon of TikTok, right? So this guy was talking about, like, there was an era of social media, right? Before, like, when Facebook was and stuff like that.
Right.
But when TikTok came, it actually became media again, like in a traditional sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People started using it as a business, creating productions, business plans, all
Right.
kinds of stuff. So we're back to media again.
Got it.
New media.
So I feel like podcasting could also be like part of this world.
I think it is. I think it is. You consume a lot of news from podcasts.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Podcasting is definitely, I mean, that is the new media.
Yeah,
front.
I love it.
And a weird thing, it's almost a reversion back to radio.
Yeah,
You think about it.
It
you
is.
think about it, it kind of is like it's a more expansive radio.
It
like
is.
think about it. What were the innovations in media? It was the printing press,
Right.
huge innovation. Printing
Huge.
press. You took away power from the monks and the clergy, and you gave it to ordinary press people. It was the printing
The
press.
revolution, yeah.
And then what it was radio, and people stopped reading press.
Right.
And started listening to radio.
Yeah,
And then what
easier.
was it? TV.
Uh-huh.
TV. Oh my God, I could see
Visual.
them in person.
Uh-huh.
And then people stopped looking at hearing radio. TV became the new big thing. And then after TV became social media,
Right.
right? And what's next? It's been podcasts.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Which is almost like a reversion back to radio.
It is.
It's like people miss. Okay, I wouldn't say it's radio because radio is like a very specific like medium, and I think podcasts have that conversational quality that radio doesn't. But I think there's
because of the technology was expensive back then, only like certain amount of people could have like these conversations, right? But right now we can buy this stuff online, and we can just have pretty much similar quality to like very, I don't know, consumable quality.
No, 100%.
Quality, yeah.
100%. Yeah. A lot of people had access to radio back then, but what he's saying is right, which is, it's like a more expensive radio. It's like in the sense that back in the day, there may be only like 10 news channels that could afford radio technology. And everyone had radio, but your options for listening were limited. Nowadays, it's like...
Everybody can do it.
everybody can make something. It's like if you had radio, but everybody could make it, and it was more conversational in style.
Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting. It's almost like a step back from the visual form.
Yeah, I mean,
It's nice. It's interesting.
I have one thing that I want to talk about, which is a motivation in listening podcasts specifically. You know, for me, it's I used to listen to it a lot when I was commuting to a different places.
Yes.
Right? It's easy. You know, you just plug it in and you don't have to watch it.
Yes.
In a way that made it easier for me to consume it anywhere. You know, you could consume it while you're biking, you're commuting somewhere, or, you know, just in your free time, you can just plug it in and just close your eyes and listen to it too. You don't have to open your eyes. What's your motivation? Like, what was your biggest motivation in?
100%. I mean, I just like listening to stuff. I like listening to what people think, what people think about topics I'm interested in. That's really it for me.
But you could have read about it, right?
No, I do read about it.
Okay.
I do read about it and I listen to it. I don't have a preferred like thing. I think there is something to hearing that conversational style, hearing people converse with each other. Newspapers are a different medium. It's like you're reading what one person thinks.
Right. It's a one-way.
It's like a one-way thing.
communication, yeah.
It's like you're taking information and you're putting it in. Podcast is more conversation. You have people talking and they're like, what about this? What about that? Well, I think this. Well, I think that. And that can be more interesting to listen to. In that sense, I like podcasts.
But also, I think podcasts is like this new. It's not only like this genre. It's actually could be mixed with different genres. That's what I'm like my take on this. So, like for instance, you like to listen to certain kind of podcasts, right?
Right.
another person could be listening absolutely different podcasts, and also it could be visually also different. You know, because these are people. Some of them are very animated, like Jubin, right?
Right.
And you can add to it, like if I wanted to enhance it, like that his animation, like he said, let's go Pixar. Right? What if I'll be able to organically kind of animate him, like make it? Would that be interesting to view?
That's not something radio doesn't have.
Yeah, that would be cool too for me. I'd watch some kind of stuff like that. As long as it's super immersive, you know, like it's not like putting you off.
It's all
like,
podcast.
You're right in the conversation, and it's just like all of a sudden he just like goes. And I was like, wow, that was cool. That's a cool effect. You know? So at the same time, you don't have a script, but it's almost it could be a movie, but you don't have a script. You have real characters. You have real characters. Right? People became learn to be themselves.
Interesting.
All right, and then chemistry of one or two people could give you a story.
Right,
that could be our next step.
Interesting.
Sure.
Yeah.
We could have our costumes on and.
Oh yeah.
Because everybody is still like, if you think about right, every person wears a mask. Every person plays a role.
Persona.
Plays a role, right? Yes. So what if it could be translated into this podcast format, because people like watching other people,
right.
And there are so many different
Iron Man doing podcasts. Yeah,
what was it again?
Iron Man, like I would watch him doing podcasts,
like real Iron Man.
Yeah, real Iron Man. Yeah, it's real, right?
Yeah, for real.
I'm curious whether those genres could be like really merged organically, and you can find an audience for those genres. You know,
that's an interesting idea. Do you have a persona? Like, do you pretend to be something?
I think I think I can sometimes to certain people, especially if I don't know them well. But most people, I'll show different aspects of myself. So I have different aspects of myself. And I think most people are like this. You show a certain aspect to a certain group of friends. And you show another aspect to another group of friends. And they're all you. They're just different aspects of you.
Right.
And there's very few people that you show everything to. Like, it would be someone who's your committed partner, your life partner. And they see everything, warts and everything. Warts and all. They'll see all the aspects of you. Eventually, they'll find out. If they don't, your marriage is going to be very stale and surface level. If you have a genuinely committed relationship with somebody, like a romantic relationship, they'll find out all the aspects of you. But beyond like someone like that, or beyond maybe if you have a really good relationship with your family, right? Most people in your life you interact with, you're going to show certain parts of yourself. You're going to show this part of yourself, or someone else you're going to show this part of yourself, depending on how you vibe with them and depending on the parts you connect with.
Yeah,
I think that's the way I see it.
Yeah. For me, I've been here for a couple weeks now, and I've gone to a lot of networking events.
Yeah,
and I've noticed myself wearing a mask without even like being intentional about it. Right? I've been, the business face, and I come back home and I do the genuine face, like a friend face, basically. And I make more genuine connection and less stressful and less energy going into it. Right, and the lesser the energy that I spend while having a conversation, I think that is directly correlated with like my genuine self in a way. So
or the more you're used to it.
More used to it. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Right.
If I get used to being Iron Man, I think I can pull that off anywhere.
Yeah. I think it's just like thinking about it less. It's like the less you think about it, the less you have to think about it, the more you're just naturally doing yourself. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I think that's why I love conversing with you all, because I don't spend much energy.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's certain situations where a mask can be helpful. I don't think it's all bad, but 100%. If you have to think less, then 100%.
I remember this one guy once told me, like, I was having this very hard time of my life of letting go something. I don't remember what exactly that was.
You were obsessing over something.
Yeah. And he said everybody, you probably used to wearing the same masks for so long that it's almost like glued to your face. So when you take it off, it hurts.
It hurts. 100%. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly.
But everybody wears a mask, so we're all playing these roles.
100%.
But through you, it's ever evolving. It's never the same. It could be,
could be anything.
Yeah, once you find yourself, you think this is you. That means you're kind of attached to something, some beliefs, right? Yeah, because your energy, if you think of yourself as pure energy, you're always ever evolving, ever vibrating.
100%.
Bay vibes.
100%. You aren't a specific thing. I mean, I just think about myself. You're just a stream of consciousness. And if you attach yourself to a specific thing and say, I'm a person that likes this, I'm a person that does that, you are putting on a mask automatically because you're attaching yourself to a specific thing.
There's also one thing. When you define me, you also negate me. for what I can potentially be.
Right, 100%. Yeah. It's just a thing where if you attach yourself to a specific thing, you limit what you can be. But if you just view yourself as someone who's constantly changing and someone who, I don't have a fixed, identity of like, I'm this specific thing and this matters to me. But it's more like I'm just going to explore life and I'm going to see what's there. And, I'll get interested in something for a while and then I'll move on to something else.
Yep.
And that's the way life is. You're not anything. You get something, you experience it, you have fun, and then maybe it goes away. Maybe a relationship goes away. Maybe a person in your life goes away. Maybe a friend goes away. Maybe an interest or hobby goes away. And you move on to something else. And it's okay because that's not you.
Yeah.
It's just something in your life you experience for a time being and you
could be anything. I attended this, I audited this theater class. And one of the things that we learned is drama therapy. And it basically allows you to become someone else. So let's say you have a conflict with your wife or your husband or your kid. You become them and then you act out like on behalf of them, right? And then having that experience makes it easier for you to understand what kind of position they were in. But in a way, that reminds me of that because
Isn't that crazy? You just change the perspective and all of a sudden this whole construct kind of disappears.
Right.
It disappears. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
100%.
It makes it easier for us to love each other.
Totally.
Yeah. So
100%.
yeah, one way of going it, right? And the other thing that we were talking about earlier is another way of going, like abusing that kind of traits and allowing it disallowing people from understanding each other, creating division. But there's also something that we can do to allow people to understand each other easier and faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, totally. Totally.
All right. Yeah. This has been a good conversation. Let's hang out more.
Sick,
we just gotta hang out more. Especially your kid. You gotta let him hang out with us too.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you what we recorded.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like I treat him like he's an alien. I don't know, for some reason he looks like an alien to me.
Interesting.
No, the way we talk to him, sometimes he has these profound thoughts. I'm like, all right.
Is he reptiloid too?
No. He's more like those like super intelligent aliens,
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, does that mean your wife is an alien too, or like how does that work?
This is more like he came, like.
Oh, okay.
He descended.
Descended. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
but it's just the vibes that I get.
Yeah. Well, it might be true. Bay vibes. Might be true. Yeah, you know him the best. So anyhow, Bay vibe.
Yeah.
It is Bay vibes.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for talking.
Thanks for
Appreciate
talking.
it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jay, as always.
Of course.